Now, you as a top franchisee in probably every system you've ever been a part of probably do not get that type of attention from the franchisor. So what have you seen as a top franchisee, the best franchisors do out there, whether you've seen it, heard it, or actually experienced it? How do franchisors help top performing franchisees?
Well, yeah, good question. In no particular order, just things that come to my head. I think most franchisees appreciate franchisors that listen with the intent to be open, not listen just to check a box. If you look back, and I don't know, but my experience has been your top franchisees over time are the ones that really shape the actual system. And so I think it's always smart for a franchisor to have an ear open to those top franchisees, those top performers. Not that they should listen to everything, because obviously, we don't know how to do their job, so to speak, but we do have good insight every once in a while. I will say franchisors that look to connect and help those top performing franchisees learn from each other, I think has always been a good thing in my experience. It's that's what you do a lot of your time, is connecting people and networking people. But in a system, that definitely is a value they can provide. As if I'm struggling with something, I can, hey, what's the rest of the country doing? Who's doing well at XYZ? Where am I going wrong? And they can help to connect me to the person that's figured it out, or the person that's doing well. And then we can put our heads together as operators. Nothing else comes to my head. I will say my experience with the franchisors obviously it starts higher touch when you're learning the system, and then goes down a little bit as, every time period that you get more, under your belt, you need the franchisor a little bit less. So I would say it's very important what the franchisors do as you're pre-opening and opening in sort of those first few months. And the systems I've been with are very keen on that, and have done a good job of supporting that initial entrance into a brand.
That brings up my next question, and it's my next question because it's something that we're working with all of our portfolio brands with over at Front Street Equity Partners, and that is grand openings. So we got grand opening playbooks. We're helping them execute, helping them build things out, because we believe grand openings are critical. Like, if you have a strong grand opening, your first year in business is probably going to be much stronger than if you had a weak grand opening. You have a long uphill battle to climb to hit a revenue goal that you had by the end of that first year. So I don't know if you see it the same way. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I just want to get into your mind on grand openings. How do you see them? How critical are they? And would you delay an opening of a location because you don't feel like you're going to have a strong brand opening?
Really good question. I've always thought, and on the terminology, I know different systems. For example, in Club Pilates, we have a grand opening, but we also have a soft opening. So, and I know different
just
systems.
For the sake of to make sure we're all on the same page, when I think grand opening, it's soft opening leading to actually being open. So it's kind of the soft opening, being open, and that week or two after you're open to have that strong. A grand opening is, how do you have a strong first month of revenue and building up that customer list and having the best chance to be hit your revenue goals for the year. So I'm glad you clarified that. Is that how you see it too?
Yes, it's soft. It's pre-sale. The way we do it at Club Pilates is pre-sale, then soft open, then grand opening is sort of closes out that first month of business. It's typically you got an event with it and things like that. So yes, so I've always thought you only got one chance to be the shiny new object, right? I've always thought it was sort of weird when you see a business say re-grand opening, you have a banner. That just never made sense to me. It's like, well, no, you've been there. How do you re-grand open? Like, you've been there. So you only got one chance to be that new shiny object in the market or in the shopping center. And I think it's really important. And I think it does prime the pump that gets you a good opportunity to grow fast. Obviously, fitness lends itself well for this. Other businesses do as well. But I think the principle probably runs true in most businesses. When you first open, it's that first impression. It's an ability to say, hey, look at me, neighbor, I'm new. And And so I think it is very important. So we put a lot of emphasis behind it. We put resources behind ours. We want to perform well. And, if obviously that goes without saying, the better you perform, the easier that momentum in business is a real thing. And if you get it started sooner, then it'll take you where you want to go a lot faster. So that's that. As far as delaying an opening, I've absolutely pushed a grand opening event because maybe we dropped the ball, or, like happens in business, sometimes you get distracted or start focusing on things that aren't what's really important. And then all of a sudden it sneaks up and you're like, oh my goodness, next weekend's the big event and I haven't done any planning, right? So absolutely pushed an event to do it right. I think that to me just makes sense. If you're gonna do it, then do it right. And if you have to push, you have to push.
Thanks for listening to the Franchise Secrets podcast. Links to everything can be found over at franchisesecrets.com. And if you want my help with anything from starting your own franchise to growing your current franchise business, please visit scalablefranchise.com.